Hello, everyone. Welcome to this intuitive session on the topic Winning Employee Experience in 2021 and Beyond by Workplace from Facebook in Track 2 of NexTech Southeast Asia HR Summit 2021. Due to the unprecedented outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, organizations had to rapidly deal with transformational business models, work from home and hybrid work culture, employee engagement, and well-being. This made the leaders quickly learn about the challenges their workforce was facing, analyze the information, and take appropriate actions. With talent attraction and retention being on the top of mind for executives, it is no wonder that 92% of HR leaders are making employee experience a top priority in 2021 and beyond, as found in a survey of 500 HR leaders by ISOL. So, how should you rethink and reimagine your employee experience strategy to connect everyone, frontline, remote, office workers, and make work more meaningful for them while growing your business? In this session, we'll discuss the business impacts of unlocking innovation through community. We'll also talk about the importance of communication and listening in delivering better employee experience, since communication in the workplace is one of the signs of a high performance culture. It is rightly said that effective communication at the workplace is what distinguishes a good leader from a great one, and therefore it is imperative for the leaders to turn one-way communication into meaningful two-way conversations. And now, it's my great pleasure to invite our speaker for this session, Rich Boldock, Head of Enterprise Growth, Southeast Asia, Australia, and New Zealand at Workplace from Facebook, Australia. Rich Boldock leads the Workplace from Facebook enterprise business across Southeast Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. Rich has been leading teams across Asia Pacific focused on transforming the experience of work for over 20 years. Passionate about digital transformation with people at its core, Rich and his team work with pioneering organizations that share an ambition to make the future of work for everyone. Originally from the UK, Rich has spent over half of his life living in countries such as Hong Kong, Nepal, Kuwait, India, Germany, Thailand, and now resides in Australia. So, without any further delay, let me hand over the frame to Rich. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Varini, for the very warm welcome. It's an absolute pleasure to be with you all today. Awesome. So as I said, it's a real pleasure to be with you today. I'm sitting here in my home in Melbourne, Australia, having spent over 250 cumulative days in lockdown. And believe me, I've been looking forward to connecting with you all today. My own personal experience and the experiences of others over the last 18 months have really challenged many of the core assumptions about the world around us, and especially about the world of work. Companies have pivoted, plans have changed, ideas that seemed impossible 2 years ago are being discussed and embraced in boardrooms around the world. At the same time, the picture across our region is complicated as we think about what comes next. We have to take into account different stages of lockdown, different approaches to vaccination, and different speeds of economic recovery. And yet, in the face of all that complexity, I think it's still possible to pick out some common trends. First of all, it's clear that companies will have to re-engage with their customers after a year in which consumer habits and behaviors have been drastically interrupted. Even as demand returns to the travel and retail sectors, spending on loyalty retention marketing is set to increase by 30% this year as businesses look to protect their base. But while this emphasis on the customer makes a lot of sense, we know that the real foundation of any business is its employees. And are we also investing the same amount of care into them? In a Facebook 2020 study with 1,000 frontline managers, we found that 55% didn't feel valued by their employer, and only 49% felt empowered to make decisions. This is worrying, especially when you consider that these are the people working closest with your customers on a daily basis. If they don't feel cared for nor empowered, how can they be expected to deliver world-class customer experiences? As Josh Bersin wrote recently, the service economy is now the center of the economy, and service workers are the new high-tech workers. We have automated our emails, virtual meetings, tasks, and other information services, but the rest of our lives is entirely dependent on service. Despite being able to order your food delivery on an app with a great UX and track its location, it's the quality of the delivery driver that makes or breaks your experience. We've come to expect that the mobile app experience is great, We don't even question that anymore. So it's only natural that our attention has shifted to the end experience, the human experience. In the world that we now live in, this has never been more true. Now, the challenge that companies will face is a shortage of the talent that defines the customer experience. People are changing their careers. They're looking to reduce their working hours and searching for a better quality of life that gives them more time with loved ones and an opportunity to pursue their passions. We're seeing this across the US and Europe as they start to open up. They lack the people that can deliver what the customer expects, and that is a real problem for our business. This is more than just a question of employee engagement. It's about finding a competitive edge and re-emerging even stronger than ever. And if you, like me, believe that a company's competitive advantage is its people, then EX must be at the forefront of any strategy. We have all seen the data. Companies with highly engaged employees see lower attrition rates, higher productivity, and better customer service, all of which are key company priorities as we look at getting back on track. But some of the data is concerning. While productivity levels have remained fairly consistent over the last 12 months, this has come at the expense of people's well-being. Research from Microsoft suggests that nearly a third of all employees in the region are feeling burnt out, with Singapore topping the list at 37%. The leading cause of stress include lack of separation between work and home life and profound feelings of isolation. That's no surprise when the data shows that the length of the workday has increased by 45% in Australia, 37% in Singapore, and 16% in India. If you're wondering what the impact of all this is, consider that the Australian government estimates that mental health issues cost Australian workplace businesses over $13.5 billion in 2020 alone. It's clear that solving this problem is going to take more than a band-aid. It's not about creating just a few wellness initiatives. We need a wholesale shift that puts people, not process, at the heart of company decision-making. Well-being and culture aren't just HR buzzwords. They're about to become the cornerstone of your business strategy. People are looking at their CEOs and all of us here today to deliver. Starting today, we have an opportunity to change the narrative, to build the kind of future that we actually want to be a part of. The question is, what do we want that future to look like? At Workplace and Facebook, we believe that the only future of work worth creating is a future that works for everyone. That means doing more than providing better technology for the people who have always had it. Ultimately, it means using technology to connect every employee across the organization, including frontline, deskless, emailless employees to their colleagues and their leaders. It means giving everyone access to the same information and opportunities so that every individual can be seen and every voice can be heard. It means empowering people with a sense of purpose, belonging, and community, which in turn will drive happiness, engagement, and ultimately business success. It's no wonder then that EX has captured the attention of business leaders. It's the right idea at the right time, because at its heart, EX is about putting people's needs at the center of corporate decision-making. EX is how organizations shape the way people feel at certain moments that matter throughout their time with the employer. These moments encompass the entire employee lifecycle, from the professional, hiring, onboarding, collaboration, to the personal, learning, development, growth, to the emotional, friendships, autonomy, and value. This feeling of being seen, heard, and valued has never been more relevant in the midst of a global pandemic that has caused widespread fear and uncertainty. However, companies that responded positively in that moment saw the impact. According to a recent Willis Towers Watson study, 90% of companies believe their culture had actually improved in the first half of 2020 because leadership was so focused on responding to employees' needs and demonstrated care in a visible way. I hope that we all saw the human side of leadership. But if EX was the right idea for the right moment, it was also one whose time had been coming for a while. Even before the pandemic, the idea that employees had the responsibility to address the needs of employees was gaining traction. In August 2019, the Business Roundtable, an association of CEOs from US businesses that collectively account for 7 trillion in revenue and 15 billion jobs, out and out declared that the role of the corporation was changing. Employees, they said, should now be considered key stakeholders. Why this shift? Well, work wasn't working for the millions of people worldwide before the pandemic. According to a 2019 study from Deloitte, 58% of employees weren't satisfied with their day-to-day work, 63% weren't satisfied with their autonomy, 62% weren't satisfied with their tools and technology, and 60% weren't satisfied with their access to data and information. Employee experience is how companies will attempt to solve these fundamental issues, which have now risen to the top of the inbox for C-level leaders, but they'll need some help. Whilst 84% of CHROs agree that EX is their back-to-work priority, only 9% have a plan. And while 75% of CEOs support focus on EX, only 46% of employees say it's meeting their expectations. What we're seeing happen is just one of the many reasons why talent retention is becoming a major challenge for organizations. According to a 2021 study, 52% of employees say they'll look for a new job this year. And here we are facing a real challenge of the Great Resignation. And yes, here we are 10 years later talking again about the war for talent. The era of one size fits all has come to an end, and companies have now realized that they need to create experiences that are more personalized, connected, and empowering. However, organizations are still leaning on video conferencing tools, email, intranet to deliver the employee experience. Businesses must give every employee access to the same information and opportunities so that every employee can be seen and every voice can be heard. It means empowering people with a sense of purpose, belonging, and community. It's your values, your defined purpose, the causes that you care about that will be the common thread that will bring your people together in this distributed world of work. So what, in my view, is the key ingredient in creating or recreating the employee experience, of solving these challenges that we face, of bringing your company together, inclusive of all employees? Ultimately, it comes down to communication. Communication needs to be at the forefront of any strategy. And whilst it's just one part of the EX canvas, it's the critical foundation on which the rest is built, because open communication leads to listening. Listening leads to connection, and connection builds community. Moving from a top-down communications approach to facilitating two-way conversations across the entire population of employees gives everyone a voice, and importantly provides the unique opportunity for organizations to really listen and understand how to shape people's experience at work, to lean more into a personalized approach. COVID-19 gave millions of organizations a crash course in the meaning of community. Like us at Facebook, they now understand that community isn't just a nice to have, it's a competitive advantage. So what does community at work translate to? Well, building community leads to improved business performance and increased innovation. And it's innovation that will set our companies apart. Those that can adapt, move quickly, and align the organization will be the ones who win. They'll win and retain the talent, and they'll win and retain the customers. Companies now need to accelerate innovation. There's no doubt. But innovation does not come from an individual nor a team, but a community with a cause. The most effective innovators build communities and provide them that cause. Therein lies the importance of defining or redefining your company's purpose, values, and mission, aka the cause. Communities rather than individuals deliver sustained innovation. That's because innovation invariably stems from sharing and blending old, current, new knowledge and new ideas to create brand new solutions. This requires a team, one where varying functions of employees come together to share and ideate. With this understanding of innovation, then it becomes critical for organizations to put our frontline and corporate teams in the same digital space, in the same community. This really positions your frontline to be able to align with HQ, be more engaged, and act on their insights, ultimately helping you deliver greater customer experiences. After all, it's our frontline teams that understand the challenges and are most likely the ones to know how to solve them. Too often, we see our frontline underserved by technology, and ultimately they're left voiceless. The challenge, however, is how to organize such a creative, curious, and diverse community. Hierarchies, rules, targets, and bureaucracy are factors that impede community building. The most effective way to organize a community is to ensure it's drawn together and motivated by a cause, your purpose, your mission, your values. Communities get organized by the laws of attraction. Like-minded people are attracted to one another and to a cause they share. Having a shared cause provides people with a sense of belonging. There is nothing like a simple cause to turn a company into a connected community. One of my favorite stories of community in action is from our customer, Olam. Olam are a food and agriculture business that employs over 80,000 people across 60 countries. Prior to launching Workplace, Olam had very few opportunities for open two-way communication, which restricted their engagement with their global and diverse frontline workforce. There's also an urgent need to transform the culture of the organization to become more transparent, inclusive, and accessible to retain and attract top talent. Workplace brought their company together to build community that helped tackle big issues such as health and wellness. It helped make their leaders more visible so they could lead with care and compassion, connecting with every employee to boost employee morale. The net result, a stronger culture, happier, more engaged employees, leading to increased productivity, but not at the cost of employee well-being. If that isn't what building connected communities at work is about, then I'm not sure what is. So that comes to almost the end of my presentation, but I wanted to share a proverb that I heard recently, and I'm sure some of you already know it. And it goes, the best time to plant a seed is 20 years ago. The second best time is now. And what that means is all of us can do this. The future of work isn't around the corner. It starts with the actions we take today to put people first, connect the unconnected, and turn our companies into communities united by a common cause. It's a future that I can't wait to be a part of, and I'm looking forward to working with you all to make it happen. So thank you so much for taking the time to join me today. I'd love to continue the conversation, so feel free to connect with me via email or LinkedIn, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your conference. Varuni, back to you.
Thank you so much, Rich, for these incredible insights. I really like how you artistically curated your thoughts on winning employee experience in 2021 and beyond. And I totally resonate with your viewpoints on how a future of work can work for everyone by investing in employees, connecting every employee, giving everyone equal access to information and opportunities, and empowering people with a sense of purpose, belonging, and community. You rightly said that without engaging with employees, they may feel less satisfied, and that's absolutely true. And it will definitely affect their productivity and engagement. You beautifully quoted, put people, not processes, at the heart of decision making. Concluding this session, I would like to thank Rich for joining us here today. It's been a great pleasure. I would also like to thank everyone for joining us. Do stay tuned for more such insightful sessions throughout the day.